Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking something that is famously elusive and trying to find a cognitive shortcut to really understanding it.
We are. We're diving into this really extraordinary source material that puts forward a surprisingly elegant explanation for the whole Sasquatch mystery.
Right, the Sasquatch savant theory.
Exactly. And our mission really is to look at these 12 proposed parallels that suggest a deep cognitive link between, the behaviors we see in Sasquatch reports,
The observed pattern.
the observed patterns, and the specific traits of human autistic savants. We're trying to figure out if a single inherited cluster of these hardwired, rule-bound traits could explain it all.
Everything. Their flawless stealth, their survival right under our noses for decades.
For centuries, maybe.
Okay, so let's define our terms here because the word autism can be, well, it's complex. What are we actually comparing when we say that?
We have to be really precise. The theory is zeroed in on the autistic savant variety. So you're talking about individuals with these, genius-level skills.
Like in math or music.
Or, crucially here, visual intelligence, photographic memory, instant pattern recognition, that kind of thing. And they're often, socially isolated.
So this isn't about illness.
Not at all. It's looking back at these shared ancient cognitive traits in the Homo genus that they evolved down a different, much more specialized path in Sasquatch.
Which totally shifts the context. Instead of looking for something magical, you're saying we should apply Occam's razor.
That's the idea. The simplest explanation should be the best one, and this theory gives you that. A single, streamlined psychological assumption.
Because they have to be operating on a level of awareness that we just can't really comprehend.
Far beyond what a neurotypical human practices. So by framing their success inside an existing psychological profile, you avoid having to, jump to invisibility or interdimensional travel.
It grounds it.
It grounds it in specialized, focused cognitive hardware.
Okay, so let's start where the behavior seems the most contradictory. The first parallels deal with their social profile, this paradox of avoid and approach. Why start there?
Because it completely breaks the mold of normal animal behavior. Sasquatch are legends of avoidance, right? Masters of stealth.
Total ghosts.
But at the same time, reports from all over the world confirm they actively seek out this fleeting peripheral contact. They get close, but they only engage indirectly.
Whereas most big animals would either just run away for good
Or confront you. Exactly. Sasquatch, kind of. They stay present, but absent.
And the source material points out that the only known human counterpart to that is the autistic individual. I think it was the memoirist Donna Williams.
That's the one.
She talked about this exact thing. Her nickname was Spook because she'd hover nearby and then just vanish if you looked at her. It's a craving for, minimal involvement?
Minimal peripheral involvement, yeah.
Yeah.
While avoiding the chaos of direct interaction. And that is the absolute defining feature of what researchers call habituation sites.
These are places where contact happens.
But it's always mediated. It's indirect. And that's why the consistency in the reports is so key. You hear the same things globally. Stealing and then returning items, rearranging objects, mimicry, knocking.
They're all attempts at a controlled communication.
Well, very controlled communication, which leads right into the next parallels. Exposure anxiety and communication through objects. It's this idea that their stealth isn't just a tactic, it's a deep, innate compulsion.
A need to avoid a world they see as threatening and chaotic. Williams called it feeling like she was behind enemy lines.
Yes. So their whole strategy is to evade direct contact while staying in touch. And they do that through objects. It's a buffer.
Like how an autism specialist might use a stuffed animal as a safe go-between with a nonverbal client.
Exactly that. The object reduces the pressure, the invasion of direct eye contact.
Okay, this is where the field work gets really interesting. Let's talk about that Ohio habituation site, the one documented by the researcher Snow White Bigfoot. What do her interactions really show us?
They show us that these exchanges aren't random. They're highly structured, they're repetitive rituals. That's how the Sasquatch stays in control.
So the famous example is the magnetic silver bowl.
The silver bowl, yeah, placed upside down under the grill hood. Every time. It's monotonous. The action itself is less important than the ritual.
It's the pattern that matters.
The pattern is everything. They had these incredibly specific games. There was the long-running change the dice game, which ended with them actually gifting her a dice necklace.
Wow.
Or they'd add marbles and a brass fitting to a Mancala board she left out. They'd borrow tools and return them. one wrench turned up 4 miles away. The point isn't about using the wrench.
It's about confirming the system is still working, that the pattern holds.
Yes. As the source says, they're more monotonous than monstrous.
And if they're playing these complex games, they can't just be doing it in one backyard.
No, no. The theory suggests they're running multiple, simultaneous games with human neighbors all over their territory. It's a way to distribute risk, like a chess grandmaster playing 20 boards at once.
That deep need for order connects to Parallel 5, right? The woodcraft, the X's, the TPs you see everywhere. Why is that an autistic trait and not just, a territorial marker?
Because it's about imposing predictable form on a chaotic environment. Studies on human savants show this profound preference for geometry, for visual detail.
Right. I read that toddlers with autism might prefer watching geometric shapes dance over watching people dance.
Exactly. So for Sasquatch, building these structures, these X's and arches, it's a way to contour their world, to make it secure and predictable. It's a sensory anchor against the randomness of the human world.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now let's shift into the second part of the theory, these hardwired habits that seem like they should be a disadvantage. Let's talk about Parallel 6, percussion, stemming.
Wood knocking. It's their most famous and honestly most tactically bizarre behavior. Why would a creature obsessed with stealth constantly announce its position?
That's the million-dollar question.
The theory frames it as being like autistic stimming. It's self-soothing, using repetitive rhythm to release energy and, restore a sense of equilibrium.
But hold on, couldn't it just be simple primate behavior, like a gorilla beating its chest? A warning.
That's the logical challenge, for sure. But if it were just tactical, you'd expect it to vary based on the threat. What researchers report instead is this highly complex, sometimes almost musical percussion, even during the day.
Like the Music Man example from the ravine.
The Music Man, yeah. He had what sounded like a full drum kit, hand-clapping, clacking sounds. It's sophisticated. And it continues despite the tactical risk.
So it's not a learned skill, it's a compulsion.
It suggests an innate, hardwired need for internal regulation that can actually override tactical discipline.
It's about their internal state above all else.
Okay.
And that's coupled with Parallel 7, echolalia, the mimicry.
Yes, and they seem to be incredible mimics. They'll imitate human voices. People report hearing a sudden mom from the woods, or they'll do these bizarre animal sounds like a 900-pound owl.
And the most specific one, the Jurassic Park story.
I mean, that one's amazing. The researcher had watched the movie outside. Later that night, he hears the exact Dilophosaurus call from the film, but with an added growl.
Unbelievable, just engaging with the system.
Subtly, yeah.
So what about time? Parallel 8 is about their sense of time. Witnesses always talk about their incredible patience. They'll stake something out for hours.
That's what's called the zero-hurry style, and it's a massive survival advantage that might be rooted in autistic cognition. Intense focus can lead to a complete unawareness of time passing.
So if you perceive an hour like it's 5 minutes.
Then a stakeout is no problem. There's no impatience to fight against. They exist in what the theory calls a spacious present tense. It lets them just outwait us. We're the ones who get distracted.
And that patience is the perfect lead-in to the really high-level stuff, the savant gifts that give them total operational dominance. Parallels 10 and 11. Vision and photographic memory.
This is the core of it, really, their cognitive edge. We're talking about phenomenal visual memory and what's called figure ground recognition.
Which is the ability to spot something subtle against a complex background.
Instantly. Think of a human savant, like Stephen Wiltshire, the human camera. He can see a cityscape once and draw it from memory perfectly.
Apply that to a forest, and they're unbeatable.
It means they can memorize their territory down to the square inch. So when something changes, when that new figure of a game camera appears, it's like a screaming alarm bell to them.
Which is why cameras get found and destroyed, or just messed with.
Exactly. They see the pattern disruption immediately. One researcher just flat out said cameras are basically a Bigfoot repellent.
Our own tech works against us, and you have to pair that visual memory with incredible processing speed.
Absolutely. The accounts are full of these stories of lightning-quick reactions. They seem to think circles around us.
Like the classic example of the creature vanishing the second a hunter even thinks about reaching for his rifle.
Right. They're reading the intention before the action even starts.
Yeah.
Or that story about the girl on the trampoline.
Yeah.
Playing with an invisible friend who was throwing acorns.
And they only landed when she jumped.
Perfect predictive timing.
Yeah.
Based on incredibly complex human movement.
Yeah.
It's a different level of processing.
Wow. Okay, so the final parallel, number 12, kind of ties all this together. Strategic and systematic thinking. or systemizing.
Systemizing is the drive to analyze and master rule-bound systems to predict behavior. For SASQUATCH, survival depends on systemizing the most chaotic element in their world.
Us. So they have to master the entire behavioral system of their human neighbors, not just one person.
The whole community.
Yeah.
Every routine, every car's blind spot, the dog's schedule, personality quirks, and they have to run that analysis across multiple neighborhoods at once. It's constant psychological surveillance.
And their success record. The fact that they've never had a fatal lapse that we know of, that's the strongest argument for this theory.
It is. Because if their stealth was just a learned skill, a training paradigm, there would be variables, there'd be mistakes. But the savant theory provides one hardwired, predictable reason for their unbelievable consistency.
Let's bring this home with that 2021 Montpelier encounter. You said it perfectly shows this, this autistic ambivalence.
It's the perfect snapshot of the whole avoid approach paradox. The SASQUATCH initiates contact, a wood knock, stomping. It allows the person to get within 8 feet, unusually close, but at the same time, it climbs an apple tree and instantly hides its body behind the leaves, only showing bits and pieces of itself. It was completely present and totally absent all at once, maintaining absolute control.
That's fascinating. It really suggests they took an evolutionary path that was just different enough from ours to let them survive, which brings back that term you mentioned, the ratchet effect.
This is the key comparison. We, Homo sapiens, channeled our shared ancient cognitive traits. Cumulative cultural evolution. We build on what came before. We don't have to reinvent the wheel every generation. We went from wheel to car to engine. We are generalists who thrive on social learning and technology.
Whereas SASQUATCH?
SASQUATCH channeled those same systematic traits into a pragmatic supremacy for stealth. They didn't need the ratchet effect. Their specialization gave them a perfect survival equilibrium on their own terms, and they avoided that clash of civilizations that probably did in our other cousins, like Neanderthals.
So, to wrap up the theory, their survival isn't luck. It's an integrated, hardwired strategy. Avoidance, indirect communication, self-seething rhythm, photographic memory, and systemizing human behavior. It's one machine.
A very compelling argument that they thrive not through better tech, but through a focused, precise, perceptual mastery of their niche.
Which leaves us, and you, with one last provocative thought to chew on. If SASQUATCH success comes from being perfectly adapted through this single tight cluster of rule-bound traits, what are the inherent limits in our own nature, in us, the hapless generalists living inside our own thoughts, that prevent us from ever achieving the kind of focused perception it would take to actually find them?
Are we simply too complex, too distracted to see the systematic reality unfolding right in front of us?